Now it's time that we create our first queue, exchange, and a binding between them. To do that, I have my RabbitMQ Management UI up and running in front of me. So let's go to Exchanges tab first and create an exchange for us. So I'll hit Add a new exchange, and as the name, let's say this is a test exchange, and let's just say the type will be tracked, and durability is durable by default, so I'm not touching it, and auto delete as no, internal as no, and there are no arguments for now, and just don't worry about the details right now, and I'll just simply hit add exchange to create it. Here we go. We have our exchanges created right here. And as you can see, it has a section named as bindings, which has none right now, and we can publish messages to this exchange, and we can just delete the exchange altogether. So let's go and create a queue right now to bind this to exchange. On the queues page, I'll hit add a new queue, and of course I'm going to say this is a test queue, and it is of course durable, and for the arguments I have nothing right now. I'll be using those arguments and making use of them in the later sections when we're implementing our applications. So I'll just hit add queue. Here we go. Our queue is ready to get messages from our exchange. So let's go back to our exchanges, and from our text exchange, let's add a binding to the queue that we just created. So I'll just bind this exchange to the queue, which is test queue, and the binding key is not required, so I'm just leaving it that just as is, and I'll just hit bind. Here we go. Our binding is now displayed right here, as you can see. So let's go and publish a message to our exchange and see if it is being taken by the test queue. So I'm not providing any routing key, but I'm just saying hi, and hi from RabbitMQ course. Just like that. I'm not adding any other property. I'm just saying in the message body, which is payload in this case, and I'm just going to publish this message. So let's hit publish message. And here we go. We have our pop-up notification saying as message published. And let's go to our queue. And in our queue, as you can see, we have a total of one message, and that one is ready. To see that message, let's click on our test queue. And in the test queue, as you can see from the queued message chart right here, we have a spike. That spike is generated when we published our message. And as you can see, we have a total of 1 messages in our queue. To get that message, to see that message, let's go and click Get Messages, and I'll hit Get Messages. And here we go. We can see our message, our published message in RabbitMQ queue, and which was hi from RabbitMQ course. Simple as that. And apart from publishing and seeing this message from an exchange with a binding to a queue, we have a couple of other alternatives that we can use. We have consumers that we can see if there are any. In our case, there are none right now. And we can see the bindings, which was with the test exchange from the test queue, as you can see here. And we can also, again, publish messages to our queue directly from this interface. And we can move messages around queues and exchanges. And we can also delete the queue entirely. And we can use the purge option for messages inside queue, which is just simply deleting all the messages waiting for the consumers to process in the queue. And we can also see the runtime metrics for our queue, which is a very detailed option for tracking your queue and the consumer traffic. So I hope this is a good introduction to Management UI and creating our first queue and exchange with a binding in RabbitMQ, and I think this is a very useful exercise. I highly encourage you to do the same in your environment, and I'll be seeing you on the next section.